Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me for another episode of the Daniel Teaches Experience. Thank you wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you're making lunch, breakfast, dinner, whether you're driving, whether you're working out. I thank you for being here. I thank you for watching. Folks, things have gotten exciting to say the least. I put a little something on my Instagram story. This is something that I've noticed for quite some time now, and I've wanted to speak about it, and now I finally have. Basically, the Instagram poll, if you didn't see it, was something along the lines of this. I said, if a woman sexually objectifies herself, we call that empowerment. She's being confident. But if a man sexually objectifies a woman, he's a piece of garbage. And I kind of went, why the double standard? Why can she say, hey, look at my butt? And we go, wow, she must be confident. But if a guy says, hey, look at her butt, they go, you piece of garbage. How dare you sexualize her? So that was the post. Anyways, a lot of people responded. Half of the people who responded, and they were mostly male, said, yeah, 100% Daniel, thank you for saying the thing that I've thought, but I've never had the chance to say out loud, which was great. The other half of the people responded, who were primarily women, who disagreed with this and who were not a fan. Now, I'll break this down for you. There's a couple of different things that we have to consider. Oh man, there's so many facets to this. So I said that women sexually objectify themselves. Now, first, you got to think about that. Do you agree with that statement, yes or no? You might say, Daniel, what does that mean? In my opinion, sexually objectifying someone means looking at someone as just an object. Nothing more, nothing less. You're not a human being. You are just an object for sex first, and then a personality and a human, all that stuff later. And I said we call that empowerment. So, man, there's so many different ways I can go about this. Where do I see this? I'll start it here. Where do I see this? Now, where I first started seeing this was on Instagram. It was on Instagram primarily, and then I started to see it on TikTok a little bit. And now I want to say it's mainstream media. When I see people like Cardi B and Lizzo and those Instagram models who only take pictures of their bodies and post it online, I can't help but think, what kind of role models are these people being to young boys and girls growing up? For young boys, if you're following 50 Instagram models and all they're doing are posting about your bodies, don't you think this young man is going to grow up with this perception that when I'm looking at a woman, the priority is her body, her personality, her interests, everything else comes secondary? Don't you think that that's going to make a bad influence for him? So then he goes out of his way just to find pictures of women and things of women that highlight their bodies above all? And specifically for women, if you're a young 12, 13, 14-year-old and your Instagram is filled with these girls who are posting in their bikinis, don't you think that's going to have an impact on you? Don't you think that's going to make her think, even subconsciously go, well, if I want those followers and if I want people to like me, maybe I have to post in my bikini too? What if she doesn't feel comfortable doing that? When you have people find role models, you tend to do things, you tend to mimic them in certain ways, consciously or unconsciously. And I think it's very harmful for young kids. I sincerely do believe that. My own personal opinion, subjectively, is I don't like that people sexualize themselves. I don't. Never have I ever sexually objectified a woman. Never will I. Never would I. And I encourage young men to never catcall, sexually harass, or sexually objectify any woman. Because it's disrespectful. I don't care if she's half naked, right? Her wearing a certain skirt or booty shorts does not give you a right to talk down to someone as if they're beneath you. 100%, I want to put that out there. But see, folks, this is the thing that I can't wrap my head around. When we talk about sexualization, the story is always on young men. Young men got to stop sexualizing women. I could not agree more. But all of a sudden, when it comes to young women should stop sexualizing themselves, all of a sudden people go quiet. They go, Daniel, what do you mean sexualizing themselves? Are you talking about they shouldn't feel sexually empowered? They shouldn't feel confident? I go, Bubba, I feel confident. But if that was the case, I'd be butt naked on here every day, right? There's other ways to show off your confidence. And it's this weird thing because I don't want people to look at this woman, let's say, as a sexual object. But if you are showing yourself as a sexual object, it's really, really hard to look at you as anything else. Does that make sense? A lot of times when you ask someone, you go, hey, why are you wearing that tight dress or that push-up bra or that pink thong? They go, I wear it for myself. You go, you wear it for yourself. You go, yeah, I like it. I think it looks nice. So there's no public perception of how will other people think about me when they're looking at me. I don't care what other people think. This is how I want to look. Folks, that's all fun and games on here. But once you get a real job and you start going to work or you go to school, people make their judgments based off of how you look and your perception. And if you dress a certain way, it's going to impact the way people interact with you. I'm not saying that every girl who wears promiscuous clothing is a prostitute. But what I'm saying is, you might be wearing a prostitute's outfit, even though you're not a prostitute. And the problem is that people who don't know you, that will impact the way that they interact with you. So you could flip it, well, men just shouldn't judge a book by its cover. That's not realistic, and that is not real life. Yeah, go tell that to every employer in the world who literally just looks at your resume or your CV and judges you. Go tell that to people on a first date. Go tell that to a therapist. From the moment you walk into his office, he's literally judging you. Everything from your shoes to your self-care. Do you look like you've showered? What kind of clothes are you wearing? Are you fingernails? He's literally judging you like every millisecond. So that's not plausible. That's not a rational way to look at don't judge people. We judge people based on their interests, their morals, their thoughts, their actions, their behaviors, and the way they look. So the problem is, if you're a young lady and you don't like to go out and have fun, and let's say you don't sleep around, but you act in ways that make people think that you go sleep around. You dress up in ways in clothes that are very revealing. Don't you think you indirectly give off messages that you might belong to a certain group? Indirectly, without even wanting to. Don't you think certain, like, for example, if I'm doing this podcast in this shirt, don't you think I'm giving off a different message than if I was shirtless, or than if I was wearing like a shirt of Bruce Lee? A reason why you've seen me wear different apparel on this podcast is because I want to play on this kind of spectrum of it's semi-professional, but it's also casual. It's, you know, I'm not buttoned up with a suit and tie, right? But I'm aware of my public perception and how I come across. Now you could say, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks I look like. I want to wear what I want. Fair enough. Here's my stance on it. A woman should be able to wear whatever she wants. Just because I don't like women wearing promiscuous clothes doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Just because I don't like tattoos or I don't like piercings doesn't mean you shouldn't get them if you don't like them. I think most people can agree on that. If you want to do that, go for it. It's not my body. It doesn't harm anyone. The thing that I don't like, the thing that I find super hypocritical is, how do you have the audacity to come out and say, hey, you got to stop sexualizing women? And then the day afterwards, she goes and does a sexy lingerie photo shoot. I go, how do you have the audacity and the hypocrisy to tell me not to sexualize you when your brand is built off of sexualizing you? Your brand is built off your body. The way you made your money and the way you made your fame and got the scholarships and the sponsorships and the marketing, all that stuff has been because of your body. Had people not sexualized you and you not sexualized yourself, you wouldn't have these things. The reason why Instagram models who don't post amazing advice about life, who don't educate you, who don't have this entertaining talent, but they look great, have over 1.2 million followers is because of that. Because they have decided, okay, I enjoy taking pictures of myself. It makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel confident. You gotta be confident in order to post pictures of yourself in a bikini. It makes me feel confident. So I'm going to post these online. Great. I like the positive reception. I like that people like my photos. I like that people comment. That's great. So I'm going to keep doing it. If you've gotten all your followers because of your body, because if every photo that you post is of your butt, how can you turn around and say, I can't believe people are looking at me like an object? Like, as opposed to what? Literally, I don't care how insensitive I sound right now. If the only thing you're posting about is your body, how can we find anything else to talk? I can't talk about your personality. Not because you don't have one, but because you don't show one. Imagine me posting all these videos and photos relating to psychology, and then I get surprised why I get so many DMs and comments about psychology. How dare you comment about psychology or DM me about psychology? Just because I'm a psychology student and my account's based on psychology and everything I post is in relation to psychology doesn't mean I want to talk about psychology. Well, I would love for someone to pull me to the side and go, well, Daniel, if you don't want to talk about psychology, just why are you posting all this stuff related to psychology? So if a girl doesn't want to be viewed in this form of being overly sexualized, why do you present yourself in that manner? Why do you take pictures of yourself naked and post them? Why do you take pictures of yourself in your underwear and post them, which is fine? But then why are you surprised when you get comments and DMs that go, hey, you look hot. Hey, do you want to hook up? Hey, I'm interested in doing something. I'm not saying posting any of that stuff means that you deserve to get harassed or people to comment rude stuff. Not at all. But I'm saying I am mind boggled at the lack of self-awareness. Don't you realize that when you post a certain kind of content, you attract a certain kind of viewership? When I post psychology videos, I have an idea of the certain demographic that I'm attracting. So when you post those sorts of pictures of yourself, like I said, again, I know some people aren't going to like to hear this, but it is what it is. You don't have to be a prostitute to dress like a prostitute. And the problem is, if you start dressing like a prostitute, the dudes who hang out with actual prostitutes, there's nothing wrong with being a prostitute, like if that's your thing. The dudes who actually hang out with prostitutes, they don't see a difference between you and between them. So they will treat you like they treat them. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not victim blaming. I'm saying let's meet in the middle. I'm saying if I'm going to tell every young man not to sexualize a young woman, the least I ask is that you get down from the table and stop twerking in your thong. Because it's really, really hard to not look at you as a sexual object when that's all you're doing. When the fame and the money and everything that you have in your life is because you have sexualized yourself and you are okay with it. You are okay with sexualizing, with being sexualized, as long as it's yourself who does it. Because if you're who's doing it, it's your own body. You're taking agency of it. You know that you have a personality, so everything's okay. You can post as many butt photos as you like because you like it. It makes you feel sexy. It makes you feel confident. That's great. Just have an understanding of the perception that you are giving out. The moment you put something online, it is subjected to be looked at and to be judged. You can wear whatever you like, but in that same tone, I should be able to comment whatever I like. Theoretically speaking. Now, there's certain things I wouldn't say because I'm respectful and this and that, but how can you put out content and not expect people to comment or give their interpretation of it? Like, I do not understand where that, I don't know, I genuinely don't. I don't mean to talk down or to sound condescending or sarcastic. If I make videos and someone responds to those videos, I'm ready for them. I understand. If I post certain polls or things on my Instagram and people respond, I know you're going to respond. I'm posting them so you do respond. Imagine if I posted questions, people respond and I go, I don't have to answer you. I posted those questions for myself. You'd go, what? I go, yeah, I posted those questions for myself. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Like, I can't even begin to break down I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm speechless. So when I talk to people and they go, I'm posting these for myself. I go, what? That push-up bra is for yourself? I go, how many shirtless photos do you think I have in front of the mirror? You don't know. Exactly, because those are for myself, man. I don't have to post them to see them. It's called a camera roll. You literally see it. There's nothing wrong with wanting external validation. There's nothing wrong with wanting the opposite sex to see a photo, to like it, to comment. It makes you feel good. I'm not saying you should feel bad about that. I don't post for myself. Why would I? I already know everything. Like the things that I'm going to post about. I read them, I study them. I post it so other people can see, so they can give me their insights, things that they've studied, if they agree, if they disagree. I 100% post for other people. Like, the fact that this is even a discussion is, I'm speechless. I'm genuinely speechless. My theme is not men should control what women wear. My theme is not every woman who dresses provocatively is a slut. My theme is this. The things that you wear impact your public perception. If I was to walk around, God bless Dave Chappelle, in a cop uniform, people are going to think I am a police officer. I am not a police officer. And if I get mad because I'm like, dude, you're the third person to come up to me and think I'm a police officer. Get out of here. Just because I'm wearing a police officer's uniform does not make me a police officer. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Oh my God. Like, am I sounding cruel? Because I don't mean to be. But do you realize that if I am dressed as a police officer, why am I surprised that people are constantly coming up to me and being like, sir, there's someone breaking into my car, sir, like there's a cat stuck on that tree, sir, why am I surprised? Because I am wearing a police officer's uniform. And yes, I went and I found it off eBay or something and I'm not a police officer, but the public perception is that I am. So thus people are going to interact with me in that lens. So when you're constantly taking pictures of yourself in a bikini and you have an OnlyFans account and you've made your living off of your body, I'm not surprised that you get people constantly asking you to hook up and you're hot and wow, nice butt and nice thighs and this and that. I'm not surprised because you signed up for that. Nobody wants to get harassed. But the moment you pick, and again, I say your brand because I say that this kind of internet image that you choose to put out there, once you pick that, You don't get to pick the consequences. You don't get to pick the audience necessarily. Once I pick psychology and depression, this is what I'm going to talk about. I don't pick who comes over. The people who aren't, they come over. The problem with a lot of these women is that they will sexualize themselves, or we don't even have to use the word sexualizing. Like some people who are upset, they went, Daniel, a woman can't sexually objectify herself. She's embracing her feminine nature. She is, it's her sexual empowerment. Fair enough. Use whatever term you want. The outcome is the exact same. I am looking at you purely from a sexual perspective. You are only posting things that relate to your body. I don't understand where I'm supposed to get the other approach from. You don't post about your personality. You don't post about your family. You don't post about your pet dog. So then when I call it out and I go, you only have 1.2 million followers because you keep posting pictures of your ass. Now I'm the weird one? How dare you sexually objectify? Sexually objectify? You're doing that all on your own. You can call it female empowerment. You can call it feeling confident. That's fine, but it doesn't change the outcome. I'm not a fan of when women dress like that. I would never tell you to dress like that or to not dress like that. That is completely, I mean, unless like you're a younger kid, you're under the age of like 15, 16, I'd be a little bit worried. But if you're over 18, you're an adult, you can make your own decisions, and you should. And you shouldn't listen to my advice. You might not like this shirt. I wouldn't go change it because of you, because of your opinion. But the fact that people dress that way, but they don't recognize, or they don't admit, and they go, yeah, you know what? I do have all these followers just because of my butt, or just because of the pictures I post. I do have to overly sexualize myself or express my feminine nature or whatever the BS you want to call it in order to get views. That's what I'm willing to do because I want views and I want likes and I want followers. So I'm willing to make myself look in that sexual light, and as a byproduct, I receive attention from a specific group of people, and then I get a specific sort of DMs. And guess what that young lady does? She's going to go to Instagram story and go, guys have no right to treat me like this. What do you think I am? Like just a sexual object? You don't want to know the answer to that. If you go on my phone right now, if you go to my followers on Instagram, you will not find a single Instagram model that I'm following. Not one. Not one. I'm not a fan. Personally. I would never tell you to do it or to not do it. That's your own opinion. Objectively, there's nothing wrong with that. Subjectively, yeah, I'm biased. I'm not a fan of posting pictures like that for a plethora of reasons, like I said, especially for younger girls or for younger guys and the impact that's going to do. And you're going to grow old someday. Is your boyfriend all right with you having all those pictures up? Maybe he is, maybe he's not. You're going to be a mom someday. Will your son or daughter be okay with those photos floating around the internet? Maybe yes, maybe no. That's for you to think about. Just be honest about what you're doing. That's my entire take on it. Be honest. It's okay if you're sexualizing yourself. It's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're getting your followers and your likes and your comments, I'm happy for you. Keep posting the bikini photos. Literally, I'm not condescending. I'm not sarcastic. If it's working, if you feel comfortable posting those sorts of photos, genuinely, I'm good for you. That's awesome. That's really good. But don't come back at me and say, Daniel, I don't know why people keep looking at me as a sexual object. Because it's hard to look at you as anything else. Simple as that. Imagine I come out here and go, guys, everybody keeps looking at me as a psychology student. I go, this is nuts. I'm not a psychology student. I want someone to point at me, like, bro, all you do is post about psychology. Your whole brand is based on psychology. Your whole thing is about psychology. Why would people perceive you as anything differently? So if I was to meet one of these girls and they say, oh man, these guys, everyone's just catcalling and blah, blah, blah. First of all, like that's wrong. Nobody should do that. But I'm not surprised that you're receiving a certain kind of demographic based on the way you look. And that's not the victim blame, because I've said, I talk about both. A lot of people just talk about guys. You got no right to sexually harass this young lady. But that young lady could be naked, and that's fine. You got no right to look at her. There's something wrong with you. If you are a heterosexual male and there is a topless woman walking by and you look at her, there's something wrong with you. I think that's an extreme point of view. I think it should go both ways. Hey, we probably shouldn't stare at women to make them uncomfortable. And hey, those booty shorts that you're wearing, you're probably not wearing them for yourself. Because here's the thing, how often are you looking at your own butt? How many times a day are you looking in the mirror? You don't wear clothes for yourself. You wear them for other people. You realize that you have to wear clothes. Like, there would be no such thing as dressing up and going out. Otherwise, you just wake up at 9 in the morning. You'd put on like a super expensive dress. You do your makeup and then you start eating breakfast. You do it for other people and that's okay. And once you realize that you have to put on clothes, well, now you go, okay, well, I might as well put on something that I like. That's just my opinion. You could disagree, but this idea of I post pictures for myself is absolutely ludicrous. There's a chance of, I don't think I'll ever agree to that. And the idea of I wear clothes for myself. And being super extreme. I would never say, guys, you can sexually objectify women all day long. It's completely a woman's fault. You should always be covered up. That's extreme, man. That's absolutely extreme. But exactly the same thing, I would never do it the opposite. I would never say, men, you should never look at women as sexual objects, but women, you could walk around naked if you wanted to. Or you could wear like the smallest thing that just pushes your boobs together and the push-up bra and the high heels and the underwear. Like, you can do whatever you want. I know for the ladies listening, and thank you for sticking with me this far, I'm not saying this to put you down. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, this is coming from those little ones, the little girls and the guys who are looking at this as role models. I want to live in a world where a girl feels comfortable posting about herself if that's what she wants to do, and a girl feels comfortable not posting about herself and not showing her skin if that's what she wants to do. Telling everybody that they have to cover up is no better than telling everybody that they have to get naked. Like, they're both on the sides of the extreme, folks. I am in the middle. And yet, with that, I've had, again, like a handful of people, primarily girls, who reached out on Instagram and said, I completely disagree with this. Sexually objectifying someone is different than sexual empowerment. And to be honest with you, I don't know the difference. I put them together. Because in my opinion, if you're putting out your body, I would imagine it is empowering. You do feel confident. You do feel confident about your body to put it out there. And that's not a bad thing. But then is sexually objectifying someone a bad thing? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, subjectively, yes, I think it's a bad thing. But again, subjectively, I think booty shorts are bad too. That doesn't mean you shouldn't wear them if that's what you like. Who cares about what I think? But objectively, is sexually objectifying someone bad? I don't know. Because if it was bad, nobody would have an account on OnlyFans. If it was bad, then those Instagram models would not have 1.5 million followers because they're not following you for your personality. So sexual objectification is the only reason that you're making money. Again, female empowerment, it's because of her confidence. From her side, absolutely. I'm not a woman. I can't speak. I don't post half-naked pictures. From a man's side, he's just following you because of your body. Why else would he possibly follow you? That's not because you're a woman. That's because you don't post other things. Again, this is a very discreet crowd that I'm talking to. If you're a young lady and you post about a bunch of things and every once in a while you're in a bikini with your mom or you're just at the beach, but you're posting about other things and your life and your dog and your hobbies, that's different. I'm talking about the girl whose every photo is about her body, who's doing photo shoots, who's doing lingerie stuff. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But you cannot look at me in the eyes and go, Daniel, I don't understand why people look at me like a sex doll. I have much more to offer. Really? Are you sure about that? If so, why don't you show that? I would genuinely love to hear what some of these Instagrammers, what do you do? Do you study? Do you do you have a business? What else do you do? What else do you know? What other skills and knowledge do you possess? Because unfortunately, the stereotype for those women is that they're bimbos, that they're dumb, that they don't know anything, that they only have looks. And for a lot of women, I would imagine that probably isn't true. They could probably wow you with some of the things that they know, but unfortunately, they've accepted that brand and they brand themselves, I don't know, maybe intelligence isn't sexy. Maybe making videos about life and giving life lessons isn't sexy. You have chosen to show yourself in a sexual light and to express your feminine sexuality. That's fine. But if that's your brand and that's how you're making money, just know, nobody put a gun to your head. Nobody said you have to take the photo shoot. You enjoyed the photo shoot, you felt confident and sexy, you posted it, you liked the likes, you liked the comments, you liked how it made you feel. But now when me as a man, as a heterosexual man says, I'm only looking at you as a stripper, as a porn star, as an OnlyFans girl, as a prostitute, as a whore, that's somehow weird to you. Because I don't know that you have a PhD in sociology. I don't know that you're great at playing the violin. I don't know because you haven't shown me. I can only go off the perception that you have. And if your perception is, look at my breasts, look at my butt, and that's all day long, hey, fair enough. But don't you dare come around and start talking about men are sexualizing me and I hate being sexualized, and go, don't you ever forget, that's how you made your money, young lady. If you didn't sexualize yourself and men didn't sexualize you, you would not have those followers, you would not have those opportunities, you would not have those marketing deals, you wouldn't have any of that stuff. You made a decision to be an OnlyFans, to be a porn star, to post explicit photos of yourself on Instagram. Now, just accept the consequence, accept the responsibility. My tune has not changed. I still don't think any man should sexually harass, or go out of their way to say something derogative or grotesque or disrespectful to someone in their comments or their DMs, period. But my vision also hasn't changed. I said, hey, I don't think women should show themselves in that promiscuous light either. It might be my inner roots from being from the Middle East, my upbringing. But what I'm saying is, if you do that, that's fine. But it's a lot harder for a man to not treat you as what he sees. If I see you as an intellectual, I will treat you like an intellectual. If I see you as a girl who goes and hooks up with other people, even though you don't, but you dress like one and you present yourself like one, guess what? I'm going to treat you like one. Self-awareness, that's what it goes back to. You should do absolutely whatever you want to do, but accept your choices. Accept your public perception to other people. Own it. If you have an OnlyFans, stand up straight with your shoulders tall. That's good for you. If you're happy, I'm happy for you. But don't turn around and go, I hate how men sexualize. Girl, you're sending pictures of yourself all the time. You're the last person who I want to talk about, oh man, I hate how guys sexualize me. I had a few people who were really upset over the thing that I put on my Instagram. And folks, I hate talking back and forth over text because I think it's just really easy to misunderstand someone. So out of respect, I said, listen, if you feel strongly about this, if you want to, I would love to have you on the podcast. I've made some formal invitations to some people, and I said, I would love to have you on there to discuss this. If I am wrong, if there is a difference between women empowerment and sexual objectification, if women can dress however they want and a man should not look at her, a man should not comment at her, if I am wrong, please comment and let me know otherwise. Educate me, talk to me. You got two options if you disagree with me. And I told this to one of my friends. I said, you can either unfollow me or block me, which is fair, that's what most people do, or you can do the more heroic one. You challenge my thoughts and my ideology. Listen to what I said, not me. You challenge my thoughts. You come on the podcast. I was going to say like a man, we're in 2021, so it could be like a man, like a woman, like a non-binary, like a gender fluid, like all those. You challenge my thoughts, you come on the podcast, and I don't want to say fight because I don't want you to think argument and emotional, but why do you think I'm wrong? When I say I'm looking out for the health and well-being of these young girls and boys, why am I wrong? How do you see things differently? If you think so strongly, and if you think I am so wrong for thinking the way that I do, and I'm so misogynistic and entitled, why? Because we both agree on more than we disagree. We're both looking out for the healthy well-being and safety of others. So why do we disagree? Why are you for women posting those explicit pictures? And why am I against it? Again, subjectively, I am against it. Objectively, I would never tell anyone not to. But I do think that if you do, you got to suffer the consequences. So why do we think differently? To anyone listening, I'm going to say this again. This is a formal invitation. If you disagree with anything that I've ever said, come on the podcast. Let's have a discussion. Maybe you make me realize something that I've never thought about. And I go, you know what, man, you're right. Let me take some time and reassess. Or maybe vice versa, I see something that you've never thought about. The point is this, I am open to being wrong. I'm open to having my mind changed. I feel very confident that I'm right, and you feel very confident that you're right. So let's have a discussion. You are a critical thinker. You're an intelligent, it's probably going to be a young lady. You're an intelligent young lady. Let's have a discussion. Are you seeing something that I'm not seeing? I am open to learning. I'm open to being educated. If I'm wrong, thank God, tell me that I'm wrong, because I don't want to spew wrong information. The thing is, I feel very confident that I'm right, and so do you. The heroic thing to do is to come on this podcast and talk to me one-on-one in front of everybody. Or, if it's not worth the time, energy, or patience, you can unfollow me, that's fine. But you say, you're a misogynistic, entitled male, it's like, and then you unfollow me, I go, well, I disagree. And we really don't establish anything. So anyways, I don't mean to paint that anyway, but there's a chance, again, I've sent those formal invitations. I'll let you folks know, you'll know if they do come on, and that'll be a really, really interesting episode that we'll have in the future. If those people decide to come on the podcast, and then we'll have a conversation. It'll just be super raw, organic, down to earth. Hey, you disagree with the things that I'm saying. Out of anything that I've said in the last 30 minutes, pick any part of it, and I will defend it, I will elaborate on it, I will give you context. If there's anything that I've said in this 30-minute talk, you tell me what it is, and we can discuss it. I am confident in what I'm saying is right. But is there a chance that I'm wrong about this? Sure. There absolutely is. And I am willing to be wrong in the pursuit of truth. I am willing to swallow my ego and be humble. If you can prove to me otherwise, that there's a better way to look at it, or maybe my perspective is flawed, I am more than happy to listen. Genuinely, I'm more than happy to listen. Can you say the same thing? Or is your ego too big? Can you come here? And maybe we don't even agree on anything. Maybe we just disagree, but at least we hear each other out. I've said for many years now, you should not seek to agree, but at the very least, you should seek to understand. And that's what I want to do. I practice what I preach. So if you do come on this podcast, I'll be excited and I'll be happy to have you, and I'm sure the listeners will be happy to have you too. Folks, this is a big one. This is wild. Like I know that I'm kind of veering away from psychology and the mental mind, and like this is more like social psychology, relationships, and gender, but this is an important conversation to have. And I can't make these sorts of videos and say, I'm open-minded, I'm this, I want to have a conversation. But then when people DM me that they disagree, go, no, blocked. Folks, that's not how you learn. You disagree? Great. Come on the podcast, man. Let's talk about it. What do you see that I don't see, and vice versa? I don't agree with you, so forget it, man. Why? Why do you think differently? This is the reason I'm in psychology. Why do people think the way that they do? That's why I'm here doing what I'm doing. Folks, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Daniel. I appreciate every view, every like, every comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. If you're watching this or listening on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, I appreciate you. Have an absolutely amazing day. And we've got exciting things coming up in the near future. Take care of yourselves, folks, and bye-bye.